Kamala's VP. What's his name again?
Tim Walz.
Tim Walz. Did you see him yank his son? Just like, I'm the power. That shows he is absolutely two-faced.
Speaking of the DNC.
What a show.
What a production.
Oh, brother. Millions of dollars went into that. It was epic.
They're actually doing a phenomenal job as a campaign.
Oh, dude, they're crushing it.
Okay?
They're crushing it.
Imagine if the Democratic Party could run the country as well as they run a campaign. If we help you get the ability to abort more children, your economy will improve.
Yes.
What kind of wild statement is that?
I feel like she's tipping my vote. Who doesn't want to win with a winner?
Kamala will take us into the next chapter moving forward.
And that is what your daughter is going to read. She's going to read that Kamala Harris was actually greater than Joe Biden.
I thought monkeypox, was spread through gay sex.
So that was true. It was an outbreak amongst the gay population. And then reports came out that animals were getting monkeypox and that children were getting monkeypox. And, let me finish, and suddenly monkeypox went away. Because you don't want to ask questions about why children and dogs are getting monkeypox. Because you can't move into the Epstein world with virology. Virology just has to kill people. And then you got to inject them with other stuff. The pedo stuff has to stay in its own lane.
No one is a free speech absolutist at the top of society.
Yeah, everybody's got a price, brother.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are. Welcome to the Matt Kim Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Kim, joined by my co-host, Mr. Peter Saddington.
What's up, what's up, what's up? Smash the like button, join the Discord, check out the Rumble streams and all that good jazz. Welcome.
Welcome. We had an interesting night last night. We did a stream for the DNC final night.
It was a long stream.
It was like 4 hours, bro.
Yeah, it was 4 long hours. But frankly, you weren't with bad company.
No. The girls did fantastic. Can we just, if you missed the stream, you can definitely go back and check it out. But it's a lot of talk and then DNC watching Kamala and waiting for her to come out. It's just long. But the first 30 minutes to an hour, I think, are interesting. Can we talk about Alexis?
Yeah, sure. It's your show. We can talk about whatever you want, brother.
She's really smart.
Well, looks can be deceiving.
She's very smart, very well spoken. I was highly impressed. And I think we're going to have her on the show much more often. For
sure. I think you absolutely should. You should actually have all three of those nice ladies on your show more often, I think.
They were all very different.
Very different.
Yeah.
And you know what's fascinating is sometimes the most sophisticated, intelligent people are often the funniest. Right? It's like they understand the deepest nuance of the joke and they're able to deliver it well. So yes, you should have all three on.
So speaking of the DNC, bro,
what a show. What a show. It was like Super Bowl, man.
What a production.
Oh, brother, millions of dollars went into that. It was epic. Epic. I mean, to an outside observer, it just looked like one grand party.
It was a big party.
Yeah.
Can we give a little bit of credit where credit is due? Because it'd be unfair if we just ragged on them the whole hour. I feel like we need to at least acknowledge what they've done well.
Okay. You start, other than it looked like a great production.
So their production value, very high.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see on YouTube that the Democratic National Convention YouTube had the regular horizontal feed? You could get it in a vertical feed, so you could watch it on your phone, which is super smart to do. They had it with sign language. They had it with the audible cue so that people that are blind can hear what there's going on.
Yep.
They had like 5 or 6 channels.
Yep.
In like different languages.
Yep.
That's a really good idea.
They're getting tips from Mr. Barack Obama, who was one of the biggest political figures of our time, who leveraged social media and marketing like no other.
The RNC should definitely be doing that next year. If they don't do that, it just shows they're not learning anything.
Oh, they haven't learned a whole lot anyway.
Because, I mean, to put it vertical, have a vertical feed for your phone is so smart.
Would you say that the big tech companies are availing themselves to the DNC and helping them out? Because some of the functionality I noticed was relatively new.
I think if anyone really sat down and thought about it, how do we attract the most amount of people? This is kind of common sense stuff.
Yeah. So if you have a good campaign manager or multiple good campaign managers, probably one of them is talking to Google and YouTube and saying, hey, how can we ensure massive impact, mass acceptance, mass usability, lower the friction, lower the barriers to entry? How can we ensure that it is streamed in every possible format and medium possible?
Yes, because even our neighbor, who is a gaming YouTuber, he puts out his streams in regular wide, and he puts it out in vertical. He actually has 2 streams going at the same time. This is something that YouTube encourages streamers to do.
It's a new thing. Yeah, relatively new, yeah.
They're listening and taking ideas. So I thought that was really good. I thought we'll get into the gaslighting part. Don't worry, we're going to get there. All right? But I just want to point out the couple of things I thought they did well. The energy level was extremely high the entire week. I watched the entire week. I had to because I need to know what was going on. And I forced Will to like sit here and watch kind of the pre-show stuff. Yeah. And the auxiliary events. And Will's like, oh, do we need to keep this on? Like, dude, we have to keep this on. I need to know what's going on.
So it seemed because I got bits and pieces of the entire over the last couple days, right? So like it seemed manufactured, but not it was almost they pumped out so much production value that it manufactured the excitement because so much was happening. Yeah. Does that make sense?
But like if you're going to hold a political event, which is technically in nature dry, don't you need to manufacture excitement? Otherwise, how do you keep people involved?
Well, you don't actually have to you yourself have gone to Trump events, and you don't have to manufacture excitement. Frankly, if I remember correctly from your kind of retrospective of your experience going to a Trump rally before, the excitement was in the air before you even saw. Yes. Right? There was an energy, you were saying, of sorts in that place. And so I would say, as juxtaposition to your comment, I'd say the DNC has to do high production value to manufacture all of this excitement, whereas Donald Trump himself is the excitement ball himself.
Okay, I can totally see that, and I agree.
I mean, they were over the top, dude. It was all. I mean, it was.
But they needed to figure out a way to inject energy into the crowd, and if that was their goal, to figure that out,
they did a great job. But
and they did it for 4 days, which was after day 1. I was like, okay, there's no way they keep this level of energy because it's going to get boring. It's going to get redundant. They're doing the same bullshit talking points the entire time. They're rolling out all these sick people like, oh, look how sad they are. We got to vote for her. Vote for her. They did a lot. But they were able to keep that energy level high 4 days.
Was that rude of me to do that?
I don't know what that was. So
how the hell did she know what he was saying?
I don't know which one you're talking about.
You didn't watch that one? Do you not know what I'm talking about either?
Oh, the guy in the wheelchair.
The guy in the wheelchair. You said you watched the whole thing?
I mean,
you didn't watch the guy in the wheelchair?
To the screen the
there was a guy in a wheelchair.
And I did 4 days of it. I'm not going to watch the clips.
Brother, there was a,
you know what I mean? Either I watched it or I didn't.
I captured that one. There was a guy in a wheelchair. Literally, he mumbled like this.
You don't have to do the voice again.
It was a couple that met during Barack's campaign, and one of them had like Lou Gehrig's disease or something like that, and it deteriorated obviously, and that's what he's impersonating.
See, I said something last night about the lady that kind of talked funny, and I was like, why is she out there? She don't even speak well. And I said something like really snarky, and the chat was like, oh, she was shot in the head. She has brain damage. I was like, oh, I didn't need to do that. I'm sorry. I didn't know she got shot in the head and had brain damage. I had no clue.
And for all of those thin-skinned individuals out there saying, oh, man, Peter, I knew, because I watched it, I knew he had this issue. My point is that they were throwing everything at it.
Yes.
They were like, you're disabled. You're a vet, you're a clown, you're a dinosaur. We'll take you, right? Anybody that could give promotion to Kamala, that was they were pulling people out of the weeds, man.
But I think that's their plan and their message, is that we are all inclusive. So they want to roll out every cripple. Can I say the word cripple? Is that allowed?
Well, yeah.
Totally not a good word.
No, cripple's fine.
Will's giving me the no.
Cripple's fine. What, you can't say cripple anymore?
No, I don't think so.
Is cripple worse than retard?
Handicapped. Handicapped? Oh, thumbs up. All right.
Wait. I can say retard, but not cripple?
Chat? Anybody? No clue.
We're looking at Will like Will knows, like he knows the social zeitgeist right now.
Yeah, I think I just found out last year that you couldn't say midget.
Whoa.
Come on, get out of here.
No, it's LP.
What?
What's LP?
Little people.
Huh.
LP, it seems even more
Can you gender them? Little man, little girl?
I don't know.
Or is that not allowed?
Well, I don't think you can gender anyone.
It's getting really confusing, by the way.
Oh.
Another story for another day.
All good, man.
They rolled out all the handicapped people.
They're rolling out everybody.
They rolled out all the colors of the rainbow.
Oh, yeah.
They rolled out people in cowboy hats. They rolled out people in camo hats. They had American flags everywhere.
Yeah, there was even chants USA, USA, which is really odd.
It's almost like when they were chanting USA, they didn't know when to start and when to stop.
Yeah.
It was really awkwardly faded.
It was awkward because usually the Democrats are the ones who are burning flags and just, destroying America. Fascinating.
It's like they're trying to rewrite the history of the last 8 years.
And it's going to stick.
It's kind of working.
It's going to stick.
Because then they rolled out Little John. I thought Little John was a Trump guy.
Not when you're getting paid. Trust me. Everybody's got a price, brother. Come on, you gonna? How relevant is Little John? Exactly, he's not very relevant. So when you put money in front of him and say, "Hey, you want to hang out with the big wigs on, the DNC?" It's like, brother, give me the check. I'll show up with Cristal.
Cristal.
Yeah.
Sounds like
or Alizé. Do you remember that shit from back in the day? Alizé.
Hypnotic.
Hypnotic, bro. Oh man, we're going back 20 years now. I love it.
So they rolled out a bunch of people, and they did the speeches. I thought of the main speeches, I thought they all did a pretty good job.
They weren't.
Again, they didn't say anything. So when I say they did a good job, I'm not saying they said anything smart.
They presented well.
They presented well. They kept the energy level high. They were very well rehearsed. And every single one of them was a good 20 years younger.
If we can jump to Kamala's talk, I was impressed, actually. That's the word I'm going to use. I was actually impressed. She didn't sound like a retard. She didn't sound like a cripple.
Can you? No, you can't say these words.
You didn't sound like a little person.
No, that's okay.
She didn't sound like the wheels on the bus go round and round.
No, she practiced.
Can I go a little farther? She actually sounded crazy. And what I mean by not the usual crazy, but like she's like owning this moment. She's taking this on. She almost seemed like a power-hungry tyrant almost, but with lipstick and a smile. Am I going too far? You watched it too.
She walks around that place, and every time she comes out, she's got the biggest smile on her face. It's almost like she knows something that we don't.
Yeah, this unknown, but at the same time, there's this apparatus of this huge ego that's growing larger and larger.
It's this like air of complete arrogance that believes she's already won.
Yes, you spot on, brother. That's it.
She's out there celebrating like she's already actually won the main event.
Which is why, and before you got here, because you were stuck in traffic, Will and I were talking about this, the machine behind her is so well greased. This is why, even from our last podcast, I said with 100% certainty, I believe she's going to win. The machine that I've seen roll out for her, man, like the amount of propaganda, the amount of just pushing for her on every side. Like you don't get the TikTok ads because you don't have a teenager. Right? You don't get the Instagram ads. You don't get to see the inundation, the absolute flood of young influencers. Just ads. I mean, Will was telling me he saw Kamala ads 90% of the time on your YouTube and your Spotify. Right? Like, dude, bro, like the machine is... We're on 12 cylinders, man.
Okay, shower thought. They are doing, for all intents and purposes, considering the resources and the people that they have to work with, they're actually doing a phenomenal job as a campaign.
Oh, dude, they're crushing it.
Okay?
They're crushing it.
Imagine if the Democratic Party could run the country as well as they run a campaign. Like, it wouldn't actually be that bad. I mean, their ideas are crazy, but
it would be a well-oiled machine.
Well, the reality is right, we want to say that the Democrats suck because they're incompetent. It's not incompetence. You can't say they're incompetent because when they actually try to do something, they're very effective. Again, not saying they're going to win or lose or we like their ideas, but the way that they're handling this campaign,
they can run a campaign.
They're extremely well organized. They use technology very well. They're thinking outside the box. They're able to gather people. They're able to get everyone in their party in lockstep. They're giving out the same messaging. They're not saying anything, but saying a lot of something. Right? But they're doing a phenomenal job
a lot of hot air
from that
sure.
perspective.
Yeah.
Imagine if they lived life like that when they're talking about how they spend your tax dollars, how they run your government, how they run their schools. Why are they so incompetent and mess up literally everything in life except this?
If I were to add one more example to your example that you just gave, I would say if they loved America. That's it.
But
if they loved America, they would run. You know what's so funny? Even I saw a clip of CNN, which is rare, but I saw a clip of CNN just yesterday of the people on the panel who are actually conceding the fact. They're like, dude, you guys have been in power. The Democrats have been in power, the Senate, House, right, for like the last 12 years. Like, you cannot blame anything that's happening in the world right now in America on Trump. Like, you can't do this. And so if they, let's say, for all intents and purposes, the last 8 years, 12 years, whatever, man, if they loved America as much as they love campaigning, dude, we'd be crushing China. We'd be crushing Russia. We'd be, you know?
They said, in the book of United States history, this is an opportunity to close the previous chapter and write the new chapter moving forward.
Yes.
That's what they said.
The new chapter moving forward, which does not include the Constitution.
But this is what they're going to say. And apparently, now they love America.
Yeah, there were some real awkward moments in that when they were like doing the chanting and anything like USA focused, it was just like, whoa, man, you guys are willing to gouge out your own eye just to make sure that you have military representation here. Okay, cool.
I made a short video about it today, but their cultural appropriation of the American flag is wild.
Yeah.
I swear, when I drive around town, when I drive around the suburbs, I drive around any neighborhood, when you see an American flag hanging in their street or hanging in the porch, that's a Trump supporter. Everyone in the world, everyone in the country knows that in their heart for sure.
Yeah.
When you drive around town and you're in the bad part of town, you're driving the city, and you see like 2 American flags up, you're like, oh, those guys are brave.
Exactly.
They are willing to put up that flag in a non-flag friendly neighborhood.
Exactly.
Now they're like, oh, what are you talking about? We've always loved the flag.
Yeah.
Look at us. We're all waving them.
Yep.
There's flags everywhere. We always love the flag. And people watching this, because every imagery of the DNC from now on, when they talk about this and when people are like, look who was there, what's going on, what they talk about, every image has American flags everywhere. And just like that, they've rewritten the entire narrative of what it means to have an American flag.
And that right there, Matt, is exactly what's going to stick in the history books. When your daughter has a daughter, she's going to go to school and she's going to pick up a history book, and the history book is going to say that 2024 was the time that America started a new chapter. And they started it with a Indo-Black Octoroon woman who literally was the greatest example of perfection from a child all the way up to her rise in politics. She changed the landscape, and that is what your daughter is going to read. She's going to read that Kamala Harris was actually greater than Joe Biden.
She literally gave a 30-minute speech, maybe 40 minutes, something in that range. 20 minutes of it was spent on talking about her mom.
Yes, that was interesting.
She has 30 minutes to address the nation, 30 minutes to lay out her plan, 30 minutes to go through her policies, 30 minutes to give a reason of why you should vote for her, and she had so little to say that they spent 2/3 of that time talking about her mom.
And then right after talking about her mom, she spent another good 5 to 7 minutes talking about January 6th.
January 6th, apparently that's the end of democracy.
Yeah.
And the other thing that she hit was that your life sucks, the economy sucks. The number one reason that the society is broken is because you don't have the opportunity to abort more children.
You got it. You got it.
What is that?
You got it.
If you can, if we help you get the ability to abort more children, your economy will improve.
Yes.
What kind of wild statement is that? There's literally zero logic to that whatsoever. She spent a good 5 minutes on that.
But she said it with such passion, and she didn't stutter, which is crucial, right? Because it could show real intention. So she didn't stutter. She was eloquent. She was passionate. She raised her fist. I mean, she looked like a modern-day progressive dictator, like the one that you kind of... I'm not lying to you here. This is what I saw. Right? I saw this build-up, right? But this is what history... Like, I'm telling you, brother, when you and I are 70, 80 years old, we're going to look in the history books. We're going to see this picture like of Kamala doing this. And we're going to read that 3 paragraphs that they have in that history book, and it's going to say Kamala was the greatest thing ever that happened to America.
After the other greatest president ever,
Yes.
Joe Biden.
Joe, man, like now that Joe is going to be truly sleeping for the next 4 or 5 months while who's leading this country again, Matt? Can you remind me? Like what's happening right now? Because apparently, according to the DNC, like the speech, you saw watch Joe Biden speak too, right? His speech was essentially like, "I'm done."
It's his farewell speech.
It was like, I'm done. Like. No, you watched it, and so I'm sitting there. I'm watching this stuff on replay. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, wait, is no one? He kind of put a capstone on this thing. Like he's kind of done, right? But there's no one. Everyone's like, and I'm thinking, wait, is no one realize we still have a country to run? Like, is no one realizing like Ukraine and Russia is not getting any better right now, and Palestine is not getting any better right now. And by the way, we still have a leaky border. Like what? Matt? Tell me.
Well, can I put my...
What's happening?
My conspiracy hat
So are we truly run by corporations?
Yes.
Because clearly we do not need a president.
So it's conspiracy hat time.
Okay. All right.
Conspiracy.
All right. Let's put it on.
Got it on. Okay.
Where's your cowboy hat?
That's back there.
Go get it. You should wear the cowboy hat.
So far, the official narrative now is that Joe Biden is weak. He is old. He is pretty much done.
You mean since 2020?
But now everyone's accepting it. This is the current narrative.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, everyone's public knowledge.
I'm with you.
Common knowledge is that he is not fully dead.
I keep having to reset my reality.
Yes. No, this is new reality we're talking about. Okay. New reality says that he is not cognitively capable to lead the country. Everyone kind of understands that.
Yes, and even the news reporters,
left, right. Even the most liberal left that love Joe Biden,
I know.
Everyone has agreed that Joe Biden is not competent any longer. Number one.
Yeah.
Number two is that he has officially given his goodbye.
Seemed like
Thank you, everyone. Everyone thank Joe. Joe, through your leadership, we've made it this far, and thank you for passing the torch because Kamala will take us into the next chapter moving forward.
Yes.
This is a new narrative that's been presented. He said goodbye.
Yes, in August of 2024. We still got a couple more months.
Well, we've also saw that we've got the documents of all the indiscretion amongst Joe Biden, the possible indictments, possible 25th Amendment, possibly impeachment, etc. So now there is thought in people's minds, well, maybe Joe Biden's like kind of corrupt. Maybe we remove him. Maybe they 25th him. Theory. If it looks like Kamala is not going to win, especially now that RFK and Trump have joined forces, which we'll get into that later. But now that the right ticket has gotten stronger and the left, who seem like they're getting momentum, all of a sudden at one time kind of lost it really fast because this was a pretty boss move to join it right after the DNC and crush their momentum. There is a very good chance, I believe, in my hat on, Not my little hat, my big hat. With my big hat on.
The little hats.
That they either remove him or he steps down. He doesn't finish his term. Kamala Harris becomes acting president because Joe Biden wouldn't be president. And then they can say, look, Kamala's been charged for the last 2 months. Actually, she did a pretty good job. Nothing happened. Oh, look, guess who had a ceasefire? Israel and Palestine. Look at what I did. All of a sudden, she has public support. Well, she can't be that bad. She's been doing pretty good for the 2 months. Actually, she helped solve our Israel-Palestine problem. They went to a ceasefire now.
Everything that you just said sounds like an amazing sitcom. It sounds like an amazing show. It sounds like something that actually should actually happen. Actually, you know what? Everything you just said should happen. I want to watch that TV show. No, I want to watch that show. I want to see what happens because she, in 2 months, maybe 3 months. Let's say, let's not 3 months, 2 months. In 2 months, with the war machine that is supporting her, the political machine that's supporting her, the corporations and NGOs, and all of the back dealing money that's supporting her. I mean, she could actually, from an optics perspective, not like she's changing the world, but from an optics perspective, she could actually change the world.
Yeah.
Like ceasefire here, ceasefire there, go fix Korea just randomly, give Singapore back over to China. She could close all the prisons in Australia. She could tell the Canadians, to the truckers, that they get their bank accounts back. I mean, she could do a lot of good. She could do a lot of good in 2 months.
She could put a temporary hold on everything.
She could actually
ceasefire, hold. Guys,
she could actually stop the border
for 2 months.
But remember, she was never in charge of that.
No, never the borders are. But it's not on any official letterhead. It's not on any government documents. It's not real.
Actually,
stop gaslighting us,
She
Peter.
could take over that role and stop the influx of.
She could come out and be like, "There's a problem at the border, so because of that, I am the new border czar." And people are like, "Oh, great, she's the border czar." And they're gonna be like, the border's broken. You're the border czar. And she'll be like, I know I'm the border czar. I'm gonna fix it.
You couldn't write a better drama,
bro.
I like your conjuring of this story. I feel like this is. I'd almost re-up my HBO to watch this shit. I'd pay $19 a month to watch this show. This is gonna be a great show.
They are using all kinds of propaganda to change the narrative of who Kamala Harris is.
I mean, she came from lower middle class. Her parents were both professors at fucking Stanford or something. She
to the top.
Yeah, she didn't. She worked her way to the top. And if you remember from her 20-minute tirade about her mother just had so much systemic oppression. So she had to overcome all of that. I mean, she is the Jackie Robinson of our generation. I mean, I feel like she's tipping my vote.
Clip it.
I mean, like, who doesn't want to win with a winner?
Yeah.
She's such a winner. She's a wiener.
Never.
She probably has
one vote. She's never won an election.
That's why we need to vote for her. First time ever.
She did not. She dropped out after the first primary in 2020, got 0 delegates, somehow is front runner, and somehow is now the presidential nominee for the Democratic Party. You can't be mad about that enough. It's crazy.
But bro, we have an actor who's playing a president and now a dictator in Ukraine.
But that's Ukraine. You expect that from small countries. This is ridiculous.
You think America is any better than Ukraine?
It's supposed to be.
It's peace, fair enough. I'll take that. It's supposed to be. But clearly, the clown show of a true-to-form actor on sitcoms, and actually one of the shows, as you know, was him playing a president in the sitcom. It's almost like movies in Hollywood project what's going to happen, right? And apparently, according to Klaus Schwab, Kamala's not going to have a whole lot to rule over in 2025 because apparently 6 billion people are supposed to die in 2025. Do you hear about that?
No.
You should probably look it up.
Is it going to be monkeypox? Oh, sorry, you can't say the word.
Mpox.
Mpox. Monkeypox is racist.
Yeah. I don't know why, because, I mean...
It's apparently racist.
Anyway,
can't say it.
So yes, if you want to look that up real quick, yes. Apparently, Klaus Schwab just came out. I saw a video of him talking about, talking about, what's going to be happening in the next year or so. So we're probably maybe 12 months away from the largest epidemic of global proportions, man.
Is it gonna be Mpox? I thought. Can we just touch on Mpox real quick? I don't want to sit in here, but I don't want to say it real quickly. I thought Mpox, monkeypox, was spread through gay sex.
Yes, it's spread through liquids, bodily fluids.
Okay.
Yes.
Stop having gay sex.
Well, so monkeypox actually had a first round. Right? It came out decades ago. And it was mostly confined, and you can find this on the news, to the gay population. So that was true. So it was an outbreak amongst the gay population. And then reports came out that animals were getting monkeypox and that children were getting monkeypox. And, let me finish, and suddenly monkeypox went away. Because you don't want to ask questions about why children and dogs are getting monkeypox.
I think I just saw an article saying that there was like 14 or 15-year-olds in Washington or Oregon that just got monkeypox. And I'm thinking, like, how the hell did they get monkeypox?
Well, I think monkeypox is, here's my theory. If I'll put on my hat. Here's
Big
my
hat,
theory.
little hat.
My theory that is monkeypox will not succeed where COVID did. And the reason is, I think too many people are going to wise up. And when kids and animals once again start getting monkeypox, and people start asking questions, then they're going to shut it down, because you can't move into the Epstein world with virology. Virology just has to kill people, and then you got to inject them with other stuff. The pedo stuff has to stay in its own lane. You can't have the viral stuff move into the pedo stuff, because then everybody's going to get upset. So my theory is Mpox is not going to last long, because a simple Google search you'll look it up and you'll say, okay, this happened before, it came and it went. Why did it go away? Oh, because people were asking why children are getting it.
And why do you need an Mpox vaccine?
What
is the vaccine going to do?
Why do you need a DTaP? Why do you need hepatitis vaccine when you're 2 hours old out of a womb?
Yeah, I saw that.
Maybe none of those things were ever supposed to help, actually.
No.
Unfortunately. So we live in this crazy world. We have Kamala Harris, who's going to be president-elect. I say that with confidence, because the machine is so strong. We've seen it. This DNC was the best production of politics I have ever seen and ever witnessed, Matt, and I'm not even a political guy.
Well, they did make a couple mistakes.
How so? I thought it was a flawless victory.
They promised Beyonce and Taylor Swift. There was no Beyonce and Taylor Swift.
Well, that's because there's this new growing movement in the memedom of green frogs that there's like Swifties for Trump now. Did you see that? That's growing. And so apparently they're trying to shut that down because it's growing too fast. You can't have Swifties for Trump.
They totally promised a special guest, and they totally clickbaited people to watch to see who the special guest was. It was like media manipulation 101. It was so smart. There's a special guest. Hey, did you hear? I think it's Taylor Swift. Oh,
yeah.
no, I think it's Beyonce.
Or Jay-Z. Yeah, Jay-Z gonna be there.
Oh, maybe they're going to do a collab. Hey, you gotta watch. And people watched the fucking end, hoping that Taylor Swift and Beyonce come out, and they didn't show up. And it's like, gotcha, bitch.
That's gotcha, bitch. That's actually why Will was watching, right? Will, you were watching for the Swifties. Exactly. Yeah, we got pwned. We got pwned. I'm glad I didn't watch the whole thing.
I watched it all. I watched so much of it, and every night my wife's like, "Are you gonna watch it again?" I'm like, "I have to watch."
Well, you had good company though. You had good company.
Well, last night was good.
Yeah, it was fun. It was good. So you just actually got back from a podcast, and you're stuck in traffic for an hour longer than expected.
Yes.
What was that all about? Will didn't even know.
It was.
I was asking Will, like, who you talking to?
I was on a podcast. His name was Chris Salerno.
Oh, I know that name. Isn't he? Isn't he like one of those popular meme guys?
No,
No?
No, he has he's from Charlotte. He has a small podcast.
Oh.
And he had reached out and
Salerno
said,
sounds like a popular name.
But it was a good time. I had a good time. Check out whatever. I don't know what's gonna come out. I don't know what's gonna come out. I don't know how long it takes them to go through it. You know.
When's your next interview? What's on the docket for you? Now
Next one.
I saw you recently releasing more Tate stuff because it's still relevant.
Well, he just went through the.
What do you think about that? That was the only thing that I had on my docket to ask you. What do you think about? Because you know the man, you've met the man, you've broken bread with the man.
I think until these charges they're not even charges because he's not formally charged. After all these years of investigation, of all these years of these guys going in and out of jail with no charges, at some point you gotta be like, dude, what the hell's going on here? It's been going on so long at this point. Now, unless you see something concrete, you can't believe it.
It's unfortunate that we've gotten so far.
It's so wild. It's been like 3 years now of like them coming in and out of jail and like, oh, the Tates got raided. No, they're out again. No, the Tates got raided. No, they're out again. It's like, all right, were they in trouble for? Like, well, we're investigating. Why are people going in and out of jail without a charge?
You could actually say the same thing for what happened to Trump, yeah? I mean, we live in this political world now where you can literally jail your political opponents and you can use the law, right? Look with in the example of the Tate brothers here, you can use the law as your bludgeon, as your hammer to get rid of stuff.
It's got to be at some point like either show up or like get lost. There's no proof. They're like, I think we got this and we got that. I'm like, dude, like maybe I kind of want to believe you because they keep on saying they're traffickers. Like, I don't want to support a trafficker.
I found this entire thread that was like throwing all the stuff that the Dicot found or whatever through AI bots, and they're like, yeah, actually, it's coming out as AI.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Most people do not think of AI as their first response. Like, I read this article, or I saw this thing, or I saw this content. Like, we're not there yet. Humanity is not ready for the veil to be pulled away and realize that most of the shit you're reading and most of the shit you're watching is AI now, right? And so, I think we're diving into that arena now, where not only can you not believe what you see or hear or read, but you have to take another filter. Is this actually a machine that wrote this or responding to this? Because most people have no idea how much the internet is just bots. Like, you could do a simple Google search right now, Will. And right now, and Google this. How much of email is bot spam? I think it's like 80% of all email is bot spam. You could also do a Google search for how much of Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, fill in the blank, is spam and bots. You'll find these heinous percentages, over 50% in most of these places is bots or machines doing all this stuff. So whoever actually knows what's happening and going on, Matt, it's all just machines talking to each other.
So I've been talking to ChatGPT.
Good.
I talk to it in the morning.
Good. I talk to them every day, as you well know.
When I'm on my way to work, I'm thinking about something and I'm driving. So I ask it questions, it reads it back to me, and I get some information. I think about something else, and then it gives me. So I've been talking to ChatGPT, which makes me feel weird and kind of dirty inside, but I've been doing it.
Whoa, hold on.
Dirty inside.
Dirty inside?
Filthy.
But don't you feel at some point, don't you feel like you get lost in the conversation? You're like, holy shit, I was actually just talking to a machine?
No.
No?
No. Because I know I'm prompting it. I know I'm looking for certain information.
Oh, okay. Well, I go down the matrix too. I'm 45 minutes down, and I'm like, holy shit, I've just been talking to a machine this entire time. This is a great conversation.
If you need to talk, someone call me. All right. Peter's feeling lonely.
Where's the service?
Peter's feeling
no sound effects today, Will. Will's not on the game.
But I was watching the Trump Elon Musk Twitter Spaces.
Oh yeah, that happened too.
And that went down in the beginning. They had trouble. They said, "Oh, we couldn't handle it. We got DDoS, but I don't think it's true." For some reason, they couldn't figure it out in the beginning. They were running into technical problems, and it started like 30, 45 minutes late. And Elon and his team came out like, "Oh, this doesn't make any sense. Of course it was supposed to work. It was a DDoS attack. We just tested it with 8 million people earlier." The obvious question is, you have 8 million bots? You just said it out loud.
Yep,
you literally have 8 million bots to test with. What else do you deploy them to?
More than that.
Exactly.
The short answer is
But
it's not.
you said out loud that you have 8 million bots at your disposal, minimum, because you just said you used them.
I can find you a website, Matt, that can get you 50,000 bots for $1.50.
All of a sudden, it's like no one noticed that. Like, oh yeah, of course it was a DDoS attack. It had to have been. Elon tested 8 million people. Like, wait, where the hell did 8 million people come from?
Yeah, he just called them all up and said, "Hey, get on the Zoom chat. Get on the Zoom call together. Test, load balance this for me."
No one wanted to ask the question.
Let's
You have
do
8 billion bots.
Let's do concurrency testing. All 8 million of you.
You know,
Yeah.
it can't be all from one location. It can't come from a central server because it wouldn't be testing the system.
No.
You have 8 million minimum bots
Yeah.
spread out throughout the world.
Yeah, in multiple instances. Yeah, running it. Yeah, I know.
And
I know.
you
How it
just
works.
said you tested it. It works.
Yeah.
It was supposed to work. Means you can deploy them at will at any given time. He tried. It was a DDoS attack.
No,
How convenient.
no. That should not have failed. That should not have failed. When it failed, because I was waiting for it, like many other people were. I was like, this shit's not happening.
And he just started off.
Because he's done streams like Tucker when Tucker came out. Like they had huge concurrency numbers. Like millions of people were watching. So this should not have happened.
And it capped out at what, 1.3 million people is what they could handle.
I don't remember. Yeah, but it was pretty
Something like
ginormous.
that. I sat in there. I caught it late, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Like it's still going on. It actually just started.
It wasn't like it was your usual Trump stuff. So there wasn't anything earth-shattering there. But if I can say one thing, because there were two things on my mind coming into this. First was curious to your thoughts about Tate. But the second is just for history's sake, because history is being rewritten all the time. I find it so funny that people are like, all of our news are fake, and you believe history's real. Just for the sake of
History is
history.
built based on media and the news.
Dude, if the news is fake, your history is fake. That's just the way it is. So for edifying history, I'm just going to remind you that Trump was shot in the face.
Did that really happen?
Well, apparently, according to AI, Midjourney and a couple of other systems, it's actually never happened. So that's why I'm reminding you that Trump was shot in the face.
So I was thinking about that because I tried to talk to ChatGPT about it, and I realized actually the news on there aren't updated. There's like a 6-8 month gap.
Yeah, I think it's 8 or 9 months.
So that it makes sense that it's not in there actually.
That you're on the free version. The paid version's up to date.
No, it's not.
Yes.
It's something like November 2023 is the last update. And I asked him, when's the
Are
new
you
update?
on the paid?
Yeah.
Like this, you're on the
$20 a
highest.
month.
Really?
Yeah. It says November 2023 is the last official update.
Why do I feel like that's wrong? Because
If you
I'm talking
want-
this shit all the time.
If you wanted to analyze real-time news, then what I've been doing is I'll find them 2 or 3 articles that are currently talking about it. I feed it in, and it'll find similar articles, and then it'll give me a synopsis based on me feeding it information because it has to learn
Because
it.
you're feeding the machine.
Correct.
All right, so
I'll pick an article from Fox. I'll pick out an article from
I have
CNN.
ChatGPT on speed dial.
Yes.
So I just hold the button. So let's talk about Trump. Did Trump get shot in face?
I mean, you could have just said assassination attempt, but it'll say no.
Yeah. No, Donald Trump has not been shot in the face. Any such claims are likely to be false or misinformation. If you have any specific concerns or heard about this from a particular source, it is essential to verify the information from reliable news outlets. And you want me to like tattletale on my source? What the fuck?
Well, and then ask it, when was the last update?
When was last update? I'm not signed into my account here though. The last update is August 2024. August 2024. So shit. But it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. AI is already telling, with updated since August 2024, it is still saying that Trump was not shot in the face. Like this is disturbing. Disturbing. That's why it's important to me, and I feel like I have this small chip on my shoulder about this. And I don't maybe I don't know why. The answer is I don't know why. But like Trump getting shot in the face, I watched it live. Maybe that was it. Maybe that was it. I just and the fact that it was just like it was.
No one talks about it anymore.
It was black holed within like 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's crazy.
2 weeks, and now we have AI update August 2024 says, nope, Trump was not shot in the face. So what we're going to witness in the future is history books that are literally not going to talk about it. I find it to be a sliver of the reality of everything else. So, it's like the theory that explains everything.
So an interesting idea then is that you can train your own AI models. You can take an existing model and start training it over time.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
If you want to use AI and you want to use it long term, do you need to start feeding it articles and information that you don't want forgotten?
Yes. Yes, that's what I'm doing. That's why I talk to AI all that. That's why I do custom instructions. I'll give you the TLDR. Custom instructions is telling AI all your preferences of how you see the world, how you want to understand information. It has all your data. I mean, Google already has all your data and all that shit anyway. But what custom instructions allows you to do is help train the AI to communicate more effectively with you. Some people find this to be a nightmare scenario. I've actually embraced it because I was like, look, they already have all my data anyway. I might as well help hone them in. So whenever I'm asking a question, it knows who I am, so it can respond reflexively to the way that I communicate best and how I process information best. So you might say, well, Peter, you're assimilating to the Borg. You know, no. It actually makes my life so much more better because ChatGPT doesn't give me shitty answers. It communicates to me exactly the way I want, and it gives me the context that I've told it to give me, right? So, long story short, yes, you should use custom instructions if you want to start training models to help so that you can leverage AI more effectively. I would be all for that.
I have been feeding it my writings.
Good. It's learning about you.
As it feeds my writings, it actually does a really good job of analyzing, hiding my cadence or my tone. Yeah. It's actually phenomenal.
Yeah.
I hate it so much.
I could bring up AI. I'm now paying for AI models of my voice. It's getting better every week. It's getting more accurate every week. The more that I feed it my voice data. So my goal is, as you can probably imagine, is to a point where it will speak and have interruptions naturally the way that I speak. So you will literally not be able to tell if it's me or AI because I'm training this motherfucker. What's easier, sitting here talking to you or having AI write it in my cadence, in my language, and then speak it?
But if you're going to do that, why does it have to be in your voice and your cadence? Why not just do it in someone else's so it's not you and it's differentiating from you?
No, it needs to be me because I'm the purveyor of that content.
But it's not
your content. I am the creator of the content. I'm the engineer behind the AI that's modeling it to make it so that it sounds like me.
You are so dystopian. It's so weird.
There's money in it.
Oh, I don't care.
There's money in it, brother.
Doesn't bother. Doesn't move the needle for me one bit. Can we go back?
Your daughter is going to be interacting with AI in the future.
I will die with the resistance. I will die on the outskirts because when we are given a choice of do you plug in or do you not plug in, I will go down dying with the resistance.
I'm not gonna plug in.
You're literally a step closer.
Well, that's why I left. That's why I said to the audience. I mean, some of you guys will say I'm assimilating to the Borg.
Assimilating to the Borg. Yeah. I will die with the resistance.
Okay, fine. I'll be the Borg. I'll have the cyborg eye. Like Kano from Mortal Kombat.
That sounds kind of cool. I'd like to do that. Maybe you're swaying me now.
We could do that.
So I want to switch over to RFK. RFK has officially endorsed Donald Trump.
Is it a little too late? What do you think?
It's plenty of time. It's about peaking at the right time. I think the timing of it was perfect because the Democratic National Committee convention had a really strong week. And they came into Friday. They were going to do a huge celebration all Friday long. All the stars they had, all the celebrities they had. Look how many crippled people we had. And they were going to do a huge party about it. And all of a sudden, Trump shows up with RFK and takes over the news cycle, just like that. Politics is a game.
Yeah.
And they spent hundreds of millions of dollars on this event to take control of the national narrative. And in one swoop, they took it back. And it's so interesting.
Well, the chess game is being played very well. They definitely took the wind out of the sails of the DNC, for sure. Well played. However, I'm questioning, and I'm actually curious to your opinion, What do you think RFK's involvement is going to be? I mean, you can give platitudes and say, I support XYZ till the day is long, but is he actually going to be a value add to Trump? What do you think?
I think so. I think.
How so?
I watched his kind of speech on the 1 hour car ride here through traffic, and he basically said there are 3 things that I really care about, and these are the 3 things that, although me and Trump disagree on a lot of stuff, these 3 things that I think are most important, these are also extremely important to him.
And what are those?
So we can work on these 3, and we can argue both privately and publicly about things we don't agree on. But we're going to do a unity party. Smart. Number 1 is freedom of speech and censorship.
Let's go.
We can get behind that.
We can get behind that.
He's like, I can't stand behind what the Democratic Party is doing and actively promoting censorship of people's ideas, people's words. I cannot support that. Trump is very First Amendment. I can get on board with that.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think he's a free speech absolutist? Or is he willing to have some free speech in certain areas and certain demographics? Because you and I both know that there's a very small percentage of the population that you cannot criticize.
No one is a free speech absolutist at the top of society.
Okay.
We know that to be true.
Okay.
So they are 98% free speechists.
Okay. Well,
I'll take it.
That 2%, that 2% owns a lot, controls a lot, Matt, though.
I can say almost everything I want except like small things.
Well, you have your big head on right now.
Yes,
so
I got my big hat on.
you got it.
So that's kind of where that is. Number 2 was the epidemic of healthcare for children.
Oh, yes.
And he talked about Cali Means.
Yep.
And he talked about him. He introduced them to, they found out that he's also talking to President Trump. So they're going to do something together. They're going to be really involved.
Oh, that's nice.
So to figure out why are the kids dying and getting sick at the rate they are, and it's because of the food that we're feeding them, the food that they eat, that they're going to figure out how to stop that, solve that. This is something that's really important to RFK, and it's becoming very important to Trump. So that's a really good thing, I think.
A healthy nation is a good nation. We'll start there.
Correct. I don't remember what the third one was.
He did also, I saw a clip of him talking about vaccines and stuff like that. So
That's not one.
it wasn't one of them?
Because they disagree on the vaccine.
Oh, that's not going to be part of their unity party, huh?
That's not going to be it.
What's the third part, Will? Do you know? Because I think you were watching it earlier. So he was all about free speech. He was all about healthy living
For children.
for children. What's the third one?
They'll come back to us later.
Yeah, right now I'm just thinking about how vice presidents, go on these talk shows and do dances like this, and they wear, like loose pants and stuff, and you thought something was swinging there. Did you see the clip of Kamala's VP? What's his name again?
Tim Walz.
Tim Walz. Like it's such like a white bread
Tim
name.
Walz.
It's such a white bread name that's easily forgettable.
That always cries every time, like, oh, and thank you to our vice presidential nominee, Tim Walz. He goes, oh, why?
But
what the hell is that?
Did you see him yank his son?
Yeah.
So that tells you, you're a parent. I'm a parent. That what I witnessed on stage when he yanked his son with that absolute, just absolute evil, just like I'm the power. That shows that he is absolutely two-faced. And what doesn't do him any good service is because we know he's two-faced, and when he does bro, you're overplaying it.
Dude.
You're overplaying it. Like, you're a cuck, 100% beta all the way down the line. You will do anything to secure the vote. You have zero spine, you have zero ethics, zero morals, and you enjoy horses. Like, it's...
Peter has now just found out that the vice presidential nominee is two-faced.
It's because I witnessed him yank his son.
Yeah.
And that told me, like you can. I'll give you another example. You can meet me here. We can have a great conversation, and some random person will have, we'll be neutral. But I have seen, Matt, the heart of man at the track. That is where, when I see you interact with your son at the track, that's where I know who you really are. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
because you're under stress, you're under duress, you're spending fuck ton of money.
Yeah.
Like nothing's going right. That's when character shines. That's what I saw in Tim Walz when he yanked his son. I was like, fuck this guy. All the way, fuck this guy. He's a snake.
You think that one small moment is enough?
For me, it was.
For you, but
me,
as far as narrative, because narrative's important.
Because what I care about is
the conversation in the country.
What I care about is and I think you know me, but what I care about is the only humans in the world who will truly know who you really are as a man is not your wife, it's your children.
Scary.
It's your children, because your children. When you're old and gray, your children, with all the platitudes that people are saying, oh, Peter's such a great guy. He did this in his life and he did that. Your kids are going to sit there in the crowd and they're going to say, I know the real Matt. I know the real Peter. He was a drunken, two-faced, terrible father, absent. He didn't hug me, he didn't love me, he didn't talk to me, he didn't they know the real you. And so when I saw that, man, that was like, I think one of the greatest tests, I think we've talked about this before, but one of the greatest tests in life, and I think one of the greatest testimonies of your life is when you're an old and gray, do your kids still like you? I've met men who have hundreds of millions of dollars, but they will readily admit that their kids hate them. And I'm like, then...
You failed.
Say less.
It's tough.
You failed.
It's tough. And then if you say something like that, people will say, well, it's not our fault. It's possible because children are unpredictable. You can't control them. And I always think, in my mind, that's such a cop-out answer. There's no father in the world that goes, nah, I tried too hard. It doesn't exist. Everyone knows, no matter how good of a dad you are. Yeah, no matter how good of a father you are, you know that along the way you've made mistakes. Own it. You messed up.
Yeah, there's not a single father in the world that will wake up in the morning and say, I've done a damn good, never happened, never said.
And it's your ability to admit that you made a mistake is the reason that they're not coming back.
Exactly.
You need to own it.
Exactly. So I have moments like that, guys. Those are the moments that matter to me. I think how you treat your family is more telling than anything else in your life. So
next week, next Monday. So this episode will probably come out on Monday because today's Friday. It's going to come out on Monday. On Monday, actually, while you're listening to this right now, I'm interviewing Congressman Andrew Clyde.
Really?
Yeah, he's coming here. If you guys are not familiar, Andrew Clyde is congressman. He is the congressman for the district in which I live.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many people get an opportunity to sit down, have a public conversation, or do a podcast with their actual congressman.
Yeah.
Get to do that?
I think this is going to be great.
I think that's going to be kind of cool.
When are you doing this?
Monday.
Monday. Oh, man. What time?
I don't remember.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall.
Yeah.
Maybe I could come by.
Yeah.
Cool.
We are doing that. I think that's going to be really interesting. I just got off the phone this week with Christina Bobb. Christina Bobb used to be a Trump attorney, and she is now the head of election integrity for the RNC.
Oh.
Super cool girl, super based. And
I think you'd have to be if you're part of election integrity.
I mean, ridiculously based.
Yeah.
Totally on board with what we think.
Does she like Q? Is she even farther?
She's awesome.
Does she believe that we're actually living under military admiral law or whatever right now?
She's awesome.
Okay.
And we're going to do a podcast with her. We're scheduling a date, I think maybe early September.
Cool.
So that's going to be a cool one because we get to get into the weeds of election integrity.
There's a couple questions. I'm just going to give you one right now. From what I understand, this is for you to give her later. From what I understand, there is actually sufficient evidence from multiple states, including Georgia, Arizona, one up north, I forget right now, that have come out with real proof that the 2020 election in their particular regions and states, there was fraudulent activity that is obvious. And so is there going to be recompense? Is there going to be retribution? Is there going to be healing? Is there going to be people going to jail? Because there's lots of cameras of these usually older, middle-aged to old white people that hate themselves who are like doing all these terrible things, stuffing ballots like it's all on video.
What are you gonna do? You're gonna turn back time and then give the presidency over again? The guy's done. There's no way. At this point, you got to move on, and that's just what it is, I think.
Water under the bridge, Matt. Is that how it's going to be?
Water under the bridge.
Water under the bridge.
Don't worry. We will turn the chapter and move forward.
And be unburdened
by what has been. Thank you, everybody. See you guys next week.